What's up, everybody out there in YouTube land? Wrath2501 here. Okay, got a long video for you. You know what? I'm going to have to divide this one up into two parts, okay, guys? This is Escape from BackCells Prison. This video is like over 45 minutes. So, yeah, as good as much as I like this story and everything like that, I can't do it all at once. This is just too much, guys. I mean, it's going to take like 3 years to render this shit. Ooh, that was a good one. Anyway, I'll probably just cut it into two parts. So this is, of course, by Pop Cross Studios. They do good work. Or he does good work. He does work. Excuse me. Hiccup. What the hell, man? Alright, so let's see what we've got here. Alright, and let's go.
And once again to jump
in. Go for it with a ray gun, bruh.
But today we're doing things slightly differently. Instead of taking existing Backrooms entities and turning those into supervillains, I'm going to take subscriber original created Backrooms entities and turn those into supervillains to fit into the story today. And of course, I'm finally going to draw the main character of this series, Jake Tajin, aka the Kid. Plus, I'm going to show off the other stuff that was submitted for this redraw episode. I think this is going to be a good long chapter of BackCells, and I'm excited to share it with you all. So let's get into it, shall we?
Dude, this kid on the thing, that was kind of creepy.
Like, if you want, subscribe if you feel like. But either way, enjoy the show. Day 32, trapped in BackCells prison.
Oh, man.
Think, anyway. It's kind of hard to tell. The days have all blurred together since arriving on level 48. After barely escaping that brainwashed, lobotomized serial killer, Skinner, sent by that jerk gentleman Bestar to kill Anna and me,
looks
we
like a mind
arrived on
flayer.
a sandy beach that looked pretty nice, but still had the gross, musty smell of every other place I'd been in BackCells prison. I healed on a new sort of friend, Samantha, but it took a few hours of having my glowy green goop powers activated on her arm.
Really?
Luckily, she
69?
said the green stuff soothed the pain instantly, even if it still took a while to heal it. Skinner had practically ripped all the skin off her forearms, and for the first hour of healing, I was just doing everything I could to not look at it. Anna and I tried to get Samantha to tell us what she meant earlier, when she grabbed Anna's arm, got this weird look on her face, and said that Anna and I were going to escape BackCells, but she didn't really have much new info for us. She said she could have visions about people's future by touching them, but they weren't always clear and could change based on what decisions someone was thinking of making. She said we were going to escape, but that something just as bad as getting stuck in BackCells was going to happen as soon as we did. I told her that was super vague and pretty useless, which I guess was kind of harsh, but then she scratched my arm with her freaky cat claws, so I don't really feel bad about it. Anyway, after Samantha was healed up, we started searching for who we'd come to this level to find. Some guy named Jerry. According to the message from our friend Kate, who was still stuck in Bestar's fighting arena on level 5 and had told us she wasn't gonna escape with us for some reason, Jerry could help us get to the level called Fight for Your Life, where we could find the key to get us out of this place. I think Anna was still kinda messed up over the fact that Kate wasn't escaping with us. I was hearing her mumbling to herself all the time, a lot, about going back to try and free Kate and all the infinite pros and cons Anna could come up with about it. Honestly, it made me kind of mad for the first few days I knew Anna. She mumbled a lot. Like, a lot.
Oh, that is a brain sticking out of the top. That's freaky.
Place as fast as possible. This place sucks on a level of sucking that I didn't even know was possible. But on top of that, Kate had given us so much help to get out ourselves that going back would be like a slap in the face to her. And I may have made that point to Anna pretty loudly and not in a super friendly way a few days into searching around the palm tree forests of level 48. In fact, it's probably fair to say I kind of freaked out at her to stop muttering so much about Kate. She didn't really talk to me for the next couple days other than a few words here and there. I knew I was going to have to apologize eventually, but I was putting it off. I don't know why. Before I got around to it, though, I thought karma was...
You're in a super stressful situation.
My leg got snatched up from under me by a vine, and I was whipped into the air. I thought it was some kind of trap or something someone had lain, but then this green-skinned woman with thick leaves covering her eyes walked out from behind a tree, and I saw that the vines were coming off of her arm. I tried to call out to Anna and Samantha, but one of the vines wrapped around my mouth. The green lady lowered me down till I was a foot in front of her face, and she said in an eerie, quiet voice, Please tell me that you're here for a fight. Her head suddenly jolted to the side. I didn't know what she was reacting to, but she shot out her other arm, and vines unraveled from it and flew through the woods. Soon I could see Anna was approaching, with her breath held, leaping through the vines. The tendrils lashed at her, but they moved right through Anna's body thanks to her phasing powers. Anna got close, leapt at the green lady, took a deep breath to become tangible, and slammed her fist against the viney woman's face. She stumbled back, and the vines loosened on me.
Oh, so I guess it's not a brain. I guess that's her hair or something? I don't know.
I thanked Anna, but she kind of just silently nodded. We were both ready for a fight, but then Samantha walked onto the scene. Sorry to disappoint you, Floracna, but we're not here for a fight. The green lady replied, Samantha, really? You think anyone here is gonna trust a lackey of Bestar? Samantha snarled and flared her claws. I'm nobody's lackey. I didn't even want to be here. I was just called in for a favor because apparently Jerry can help these little ankle biters here get to fight for your life. Floracna suddenly stood upright and had a huge grin spread across her face.
Oh boy.
Fight for your life? Well, why didn't you say so? About 20 minutes of walking later, we'd followed Floracna to this big base camp full of huts and a few dozen dancing...
So semi-hostile.
Some seemed interested in us, but most didn't. Samantha did get a few dirty looks, though. The whole place kind of looked like
they
a
know her.
mash of ridiculous things put together. At one point, we even walked past this pit that was surrounded by cheering people, and inside I could have sworn were two cartoon characters in real life beating each other up. We were brought into this big main hut in the middle of everything, where there was a villain massaging the feet of this guy in a wooden throne. He was kind of human, but had blue feathers all over him, and a beak in place of his mouth and nose. And just like that,
Big Bird?
It turned out we'd finally found Jerry.
Yeah, no smash. I'd have to go with pass on this one. Not smash.
When
Pass.
Jerry saw us, he thanked his massager, waved them off, and stood up. Wow, look at what we have here. Some new friends come to join us. He looked over at Samantha. And some old friends. Samantha, is Bestar finally sending apology to old Jerry here? Samantha snapped again at being thought of as Bestar's lackey, but the conversation shifted quickly when Floracna mentioned why Anna and I were here. Oh, what fortuitous timing! Our last entrant hasn't even finished his run yet. We didn't know what that meant, but Jerry skipped out of the hut and led us to this massive set of what must have been like a couple hundred monitors, surrounded by a few cheering people. The screens showed a bunch of angles of this huge hallway with blaring red lights and swarms of villains beating the snot out of each other. Jerry asked if anyone had eyes on some guy named Gakwalid. A few people pointed us to a monitor on the lower left. This guy with a body that looked made out of red stone was fighting off what I thought was a guy who could clone himself, because there were like 4 of this speedy, yellow, glowy guy attacking him, but I later found out that wasn't the case. Anyway, the red dude was getting pummeled from every angle, but then he shifted his body from stone to red liquid, then into smoke, and he just kind of floated away from the guys attacking him. On his way out, he even thrust his smoky hand at one of them, and the mist went down into the glowy guy's throat, and he just passed out. The crowd went nuts and followed this floaty red guy through a bunch of monitors, until Gakwalid started approaching some lady with a cape, a bird skull for a head, and a mechanical set of arms and legs. Then everyone just started booing. Some people even walked away. Hey, come on, maybe he'll get her. Have a little bit of oh, no, he's dead. I'd looked away for a second at the people leaving, and when I looked back, Gakwalid's body had shifted back into a sort of solid state, and he was just wobbling back and forth. The bird lady slowly marched towards him, but as she did, in his hazy state, he did manage to point at her, and then at his back. I looked around to see if anyone knew what he was doing, but they all just seemed bummed out. The bird lady got close, thrust her neck back, and pecked straight through Gakwalid's head. His body dropped to the ground, and the bird lady wandered off.
Okay.
Turned out she'd taken out a lot of the people they'd sent in there. At first, I was kind of worried, not just about the fact that Anna and I were planning to go down into that insane place, but because I assumed Jerry and his people had forced those people to go down in there, kind of like Bestar in his fighting arena. Turned out that wasn't the case, though. Over the next afternoon, we realized that Jerry really was actually a pretty decent guy. Bestar had spread rumors to lots of people that anyone who finds Jerry gets hypnotized to become his mindless follower, but that wasn't actually true. Everyone who knew Jerry just really liked him because he was one of the few people who'd managed to make peaceful settlements in BackCells. The guy we'd just seen die and fight for your life had gone down on purpose to try and be one of the few people to get through it. Once every few months, apparently, someone will try it, but it was very rare for anyone to actually survive. Jerry soon explained to us why. Not only were there a bunch of real evil villains down there that stayed there just for the fun of spending their lives killing whoever entered and tried to get through, but also because as soon as someone does enter, they're cloned 10 times. But all of the copies are mindless killing machines that are specifically trying to hunt down the person they're cloned from. Then once they do, the copies just stay down there forever looking for more people to kill. But even on top of all of that, making it that much harder for us, I assumed that most people going down there weren't trying to find some hidden key that Anna and I were after that could apparently get us out of BackCells. A key that we had no idea how we were gonna locate. Anna and I have started doing a lot of training now, separately at first, because Anna was still kind of quiet around me after I
mad at you. You
but
done
we're
fucked
gonna
up.
need to work together eventually. Anna is trying to hold her breath longer so she can stay intangible more, and is trying to figure out if she can make me intangible too by touching me while holding her breath. We still have no idea if that could be possible for her. I'm mostly trying to improve my flying. If Anna can make us both intangible and I can fly good enough to carry her through quickly, we might have a chance. Might. To be honest, it's kind of tempting to just stay here. Jerry has really made the best of this place. They've got plenty of food and water because of their special elevator that literally can only go to fight for your life. They don't just use it to send people who want to go down there, but whenever they're running low on food or the weird bottles of almond water that they have, they stick a bunch of that in the elevator, send it down, bring it back up, and it's multiplied 10 times because of the cloning thing. But I don't know. I don't think I'd ever really be happy just staying here, even though I don't have much waiting for me back outside BackCells anyway. For the first few days at Jerry's base camp, Anna and I were still keeping quiet about the key that we were looking for. Even Samantha didn't know that we were after it, but eventually Jerry got curious. So, what do a couple of nice kids like you want to do and fight for your life anyway?
I thought it was supposed to be run for your life.
Started answering at first, and of course that didn't really go well.
We just want to see if we can make it. We're gonna be looking for a friend of ours who.
Bad liar.
Jerry pretty quickly interrupted, saying, "Yeah, it wouldn't by chance be because you're looking for the key, would it?" I got kind of tense after he said.
So they are looking. They do know about the key.
Jerry more than most people in here, so I said, "You know about the key?" "Of course I do. In fact, I was there when the warden, Dresden, first brought it into BackCells."
The warden? Okay, still got a ways. Got at least maybe one or two more characters. He's gonna do a lot of characters in this one.
Sparked a memory from my earlier days in BackCells. Bestar had cursed this guy, Dresden, when he talked about how someone gets trapped in BackCells prison by, as he said, infuriating the wrong overseer. Still didn't really know what that meant. We asked Jerry about it, and he said that he'd heard overseers were the people who watched over different dimensions, which I guess different dimensions are just a thing, and I've got to accept that.
Well, you're in a different dimension.
Done to make the overseer of my
Xylan tunes? What the hell?
In here, but best guess is it has something to do with the crystals that Anna and I.
That looks like something from Bendy and the Ink Machine.
Just before getting sent in here. Anyway, it turned out this Dresden guy was the one who ran this whole place, and is the only guy who can come and go as he pleases. Apparently, Jerry had sighted the guy a few times before. Said he had a glowing forearm, but almost totally gray, sort of burnt-looking skin, and some pink veins running along the side of his head from his left eye.
Gross.
Jerry had never actually interacted with him until Jerry came to level 48 and was looking for a new place to start a base camp after being chased out of level 1 by some of Bestar's goons, who'd always been at odds with Jerry and his group. Jerry had started to settle here and build some huts and stuff when Dresden, out of nowhere, just walked right up to Jerry holding some glowy rock and said, "This key will lead anyone who finds it to the end. Allow them to escape my prison and go back to their dimension. Do with this information what you will." Dresden then snapped his fingers and a portal opened up and dropped all the monitors here, as well as the elevator to Fight for Your Life. Then Dresden snapped his fingers again and was gone, but showed up on one of the monitors in Fight for Your Life, and he just dropped the key there. Then all of the monitors went static for a few seconds, and when they came back on, Dresden was gone and the key was out of sight. Jerry still has no idea
down there
why
somewhere.
Dresden told him that information, but also thinks that Dresden told Bestar as well, since goons of Bestar every now and then show up on the monitors running through Fight for Your Life looking for something, before, of course, getting massacred. Could have just been that someone in Jerry's camp had been spreading the info, but Jerry's followers tended to be very loyal, and especially uninterested in saying anything to Bestar's people. Our next big stroke of luck actually
Every prison
came
has
when
their
Jerry
dynamics.
said that he might have a way to find the key once we were in there. He guessed that given how glowy the thing was, and how powerful it must be to get someone out of this stupid prison, it must give off a lot of energy. So anytime someone was going down there, whether to look for the key or not, Jerry always got them to wear a pair of goggles that could see energy waves from an intense enough source. We asked if he had a pair that we could take, and he led us to this crate with tons of different pads and equipment. He gave us each a pair of green energy goggles and said that we could take whatever else we wanted from there as well. Not a lot of it fit us, but Anna and I each got some padding and
Well,
stuff
he's
to help
generous,
protect
there's
us,
that.
at least a little bit. We thanked Jerry and he wandered off towards the pit, where people were watching cartoon characters beat each other up. Turned out one of the villains, or one of the people in Jerry's group, was this sweaty guy with literally a camera for a face who could look into people's memories, see their favorite cartoons, then bring them to life to attack the person. But here in Jerry's camp, he'd turned it into a game where people would just pit their favorite cartoons against each other for sport. Seemed a little bit messed up at times, but I did sort of have fun on one of the days watching a My Little Pony beat up a Smurf. Anyway,
that's
Anna and
awesome. I like that.
Together,
Dude,
so
you have a thing,
I
man.
figured it was
So basically, he
the
created
time
Death
is
Battle
overdue
in
apology.
the back
I
rooms.
told
This
Anna
guy
I
just
was
created Death
sorry
Battle.
for snapping at her. That
That's
this
actually
place
should
was
be his
being the
name.
worst in
His
me.
name should be
It
Death
had been
Battle.
hard to focus on trying to be nice when I was so focused on just trying to stay alive. I told her how I just felt so useless in this place. Pretty much the only reason I was still alive was because of her or Kate, and I was just getting pushed through life in here. And that wasn't actually that different from my life on the outside either. I realized she and I didn't really know that much about each other, so I told her about my parents and brother Mason and how they died, and since then I'd been jumped through 3 different foster homes. One had been shut down because the people running it had been selling, I don't know, they never actually told us, but I assumed it was drugs or something. Then the next one,
or the
woman who
kids.
ran it was this super easily spooked woman who was totally terrified of the dark, and one day she had a mental breakdown, saying some goopy shadow monster was haunting her in the night and coming to kill her. She got sent to a psych ward or something, and I only been for a few weeks before I found that crystal, had gotten my powers, and been thrown into BackCells for whatever reason. I just wanted
For the crime of
kind
having powers.
control over anything in my life now, and knowing that I probably wouldn't even have that once I got out of here just made my mood that much worse.
So
Overall,
he's
probably
become
wasn't that
institutionalized.
great of an apology to Anna, since I was basically just making excuses the whole time, but she did seem to appreciate it, and got to tell me a bit about herself too. Her dad had died when she was young, and her mom had never seemed that interested in actually being a mom, so Anna had to do everything for herself. The only fun she ever really had was going to the lake in a forest near her home, where she got a chance to swim, which she loved doing, and that had been where she found the crystal that gave her her powers, before, of course, getting sent in here. But she said in spite of everything, she was, in a crazy way, glad she'd gotten sent here. When Anna had gotten trapped in Bestar's fighting arena with unkillable Kate, she said that she finally met someone who gave her some hope that things could get better. Kate had a saying that seems crazy from a person who's spent half her life trying to survive in Bestar's fighting arena against her will. She says, "Everything that sucks is good for you." She says all the garbage in your life makes you tougher, so when more garbage is heaped on later, you're better at handling it. Anna said she's tried to see things that way ever since meeting Kate. I
suppose,
honestly don't
but
know if I can try and see things that way, but
I prefer the saying, "That which doesn't kill you is going to die."
Maybe if she can do it, I can too.
It
was really nice having a relaxed talk with Anna, but eventually we joined some.
Kind of weird that his feet are tripods. That's creepy.
Pit before going to bed. It was nice to have some calm before getting back to training too. Our plan currently is to train for another month before going down to fight for our lives, but realistically we may need even longer than that. One step at a time, I guess. Anyway, good night for now.
You know what? Given how this is, I'm going to end this one here. The next one doesn't start for ends all the way over here. So yeah, I'm going to end this one here. The second part will be well, either next week or maybe tomorrow. Ooh. Anyway, so this is pretty cool. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Like this video, subscribe. Definitely click the link to the original. Subscribe over at Popcross and like the original video. I will see you guys next time. Tune in every day for new content. Bye-bye.